Hey, this is Dr. Don McGrath with another Scale Pathway Marketing Minute. These are short videos about certain topics on marketing to help you with your marketing in your business and growing your business. So, single opt-in versus double opt-in. What's the deal? What should you do? Some people have asked me this recently, so I thought I'd share with you what I know and some things to consider when in your own marketing you are thinking about, well, do I set up a double opt-in or single opt-in? So here is a fact that email marketing, some people are like, oh, email marketing, do you really do that? Okay, so email marketing has the best return on investment of any other form of marketing still to this day. Okay, so for every $1 you spend, you get back 40. Okay, and other means are like somewhere between 2 and 20. So it is still one of the best monetizable forms of marketing to do. So it is if you're not doing email marketing, you might want to consider it. And so what is single opt-in and what is double opt-in? So double opt-in means that when I set up an opt-in, I give away a lead magnet, or I ask someone for their information in return for something of value. A double opt-in, when they give me their information, their name and their email, maybe a phone number, in order for them to be added to my list, I send them an email once they enter their information, and then they have to go to their email and click and verify that they indeed want to be on my list. So there's a two-step process. So they enter their information on a landing page, whether it be on their phone or whether it be on a computer, and then they get an email to the email that they subscribed with, and then they have to actually go open that email and click on it to verify that they indeed want to be on my list or your list. So that's double opt-in, okay? So here's a couple of facts about double opt-in. There have been a number of studies that look at nowadays how many people actually go to their email and click and verify their email once they've opted in. And the data varies study to study, but between 20% and 60%. Okay, 20% and 60%, somewhere in there, all the studies show that between 20 and 60% never complete the verification process. Okay, so 20%, so 1 in 5, or up to 2 out of 3, pretty much, right? So there's a lot of people don't complete the process, and therefore they don't get on your list, and therefore your list doesn't grow and you have no opportunity to really reach out to them. Okay, so that's one of the big disadvantages, is that your list growth grows more slowly. However, the people who do go through the whole process are more likely to be more engaged and more responsive because they've actually gone through the trouble and followed through. So you got action takers on your list rather than tire kickers. So that is the advantage is that people are much less likely to report you as spam. They have gone the extra mile to say, yes, I want this information. I want to be on this email list. Okay. Just remember that many people who really want to be on your list aren't going to get on your list because they're not used to having to do double verification anymore, because most people don't do it. Okay. So, double opt-in, also people say, hey, is it becoming a requirement? Here in the United States, it's not. Okay, some places in Europe, it's become the norm, although from what I understand in the research, it's not technically a requirement, but many places are using double opt-in in Europe, in particular in Europe. So if you're going to do a lot of marketing in Europe, that's a consideration. You may want to consider using double opt-in just to be as clean as possible to the very hazy regulations that are coming out of the European Union. So, but if you're here in the US, there isn't a requirement to use double opt-in. Now, single opt-in. So what's the deal with single opt-in? So single opt-in is much easier. Somebody gives you the information and they automatically get on your list, and you can begin reaching out to them with offers and information and whatever you want. Okay, so what's the downside? The downside is that people sometimes fat finger their email, or they use a fictitious email in order to get your valuable thing, your valuable lead magnet, valuable information. They do that on purpose. Sometimes they fat finger things. And so those emails won't be delivered and they'll bounce, and that can hurt your deliverability. Okay. And you don't want to be a spammer. You don't want to have poor deliverability. You don't want to be seen as a spammer. You don't have a lot of spam reports, because that will hurt your overall ability to do email marketing at all. So one thing you can do is just go in and occasionally look at all the bounces and clean them up. Just get those contacts so that you're not reaching out to them, so they won't hurt your deliverability. So that is a strategy to deal with some of these emails that are bouncing, to not hurt your deliverability. So and single opt-in is becoming more traditional, becoming more mainstream here in the US. In fact, MailChimp recently, because of some of the studies they've done, have made it in the US for US accounts. They made it the default. Okay, so I guess here's what I would recommend. If you do a lot of email marketing in Europe, I would strongly consider double opt-in, because I think it'll keep you the cleanest and keep you out of trouble. Here in the US, if you do most of your marketing here in the US, I think single opt-in with occasional list maintenance is what we do, and you may want to consider that. If you don't mind your list growing really slow and you want to have just a super engaged and smaller and slower growing audience, double opt-in is a way to go. Although I like to grow my list more quickly. So what we do is single opt-in and then some list maintenance, so occasional list maintenance. Well, I hope that you found this useful, and I hope you begin putting it in practice, and I hope this clarified some things that you may have not known about email marketing. Here's a factoid I found out when I was doing my research. 85% of all email traffic is spam. 85% of all email traffic is spam. That is why there's all these spam filters and all these things that we're seeing, and a lot of deliverability issues and such in emails, because the internet's just being slammed with spam. So here's the thing: if you're intentional and authentic with your emails, you're not going to be spam. Okay. Now, some people I read will mark an email as spam if they want to unsubscribe, just because it's easier than going all the way down to the unsubscribe for some email systems. So if you get marked as spam, it may be just because it's harder. You know, people don't know how to unsubscribe. So it's not the end of the world if you get one spam complaint. In fact, I would also argue, if you're not having people unsubscribe from your list, at least at some low level, you're probably not emailing enough. Okay. So I hope you found this information useful, and I will see you in the next lesson.